what's up?
All day.
Yeah, I think it's gonna get hotter.
I don't know.
I'm not ignoring everybody, I'm just, looking at people.
I don't take it personally.
Thank you.
Hello? Hey. Okay, that's your phone then. I'm not worried about it. I'm good. Thanks. Bye.
Hi, this is Cindy Schneider, and I just want to let you know that our large garbage pickup is not picked up today, so it's all sitting
Hey,
in
Sarah, I have a
Idaho
challenge for you.
North Broadway Street,
Okay.
and my number is
Sarah?
500-133.
Can you hear me?
Thank you.
Hold on. Yeah, hold on, Dave. Sorry. Okay, what's the challenge?
All right, find a picture of a US one that you can display around the village.
Okay.
Gail, I know you're gonna be joining us tonight.
All right.
Thank you for coming.
Oh, look at that. Pat's good. Perfect. Can we use yours, Pat? Are you good with that?
That'd be fine.
Perfect.
I figured, I knew Dale was gonna be here, so.
Can you blow on it, Beto? I'd like to wave while we're doing it.
Are you hiding that?
No, if I move this any farther, I'm gonna be on the garage.
Okay, I think everybody's here except for Pat McGrath, so let's just wait about another minute. And if we have to, we'll start and come back to his agenda. All right, we have all the trustees here and the staff that we need to start. Hopefully Pat will be joining us in the process. And we will come back to his items if he's not here when we reach that point. So, meeting is now called to order. I ask everyone to stand and please join me. Go ahead. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thanks, Pat. You can come back out of the garage now.
Okay,
Okay, our first item on the agenda is the roll call. Johnson,
Dave Breedlove,
here.
Joe Boyd,
Here.
Kathy Brooks. Here. Jim Campbell,
Here.
Don Gibson,
Here.
Bill Morris,
Here.
Pat O'Grady.
Okay, thank you. Next item on the agenda is our consent agenda, which is approval of the May 10th open meeting minutes and the financial statements and payment of bills for the month of May. Does anybody have any questions or comments? Not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda items.
I'll motion to approve that.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve consent agenda items. Any additional discussion? Allison, roll call, please.
Joe Boyd,
Yes.
Kathy Brooks. Yes. Jim Campbell,
Yes.
Don Gibson,
Yes.
Bill Morris,
Yes.
Pat O'Grady.
yes.
Okay, thank you. Next, Board of Builders Bridge, first item under my agenda is a continuation of the public hearing on the Steve and Jay Lambert land property swap. Pat, I'm gonna turn this over to you now. That wrap.
Thank you. So, tonight we have a public hearing with notice duly published, which pertains to a proposed land swap between the Village of Hudson and Stephen and Judith Lambert. The land swap involves parcels which are legally described with the annexation, or excuse me, with the exchange agreement. So I can describe it. Both have been surveyed. It's an even land swap. And as a part of this agreement that is proposed, the village agrees to grant to the Lamperts an easement which would allow for the location of a private sewage disposal system on a part of the property which the village is obtaining. The village would be transferring to the Lamperts part of tax ID number 0721452036. The Lamperts transferring to the village part of 0721452017. I know Josh's been involved with this since the start. He might be better than describing for me. Essentially, it's my understanding, and my recollection, it's ground that kind of bisects the park. The village is receiving and the village is giving up some ground that adjoins the Lampert's property. Is that about right, Jeff?
Yeah, so they're getting, south from their building, I don't know, that's 60 feet or 70 feet south of their current building toward the street. To depart from the back of their building, basically to West Street.
Thank you for helping me through that. So that's the sum and substance of the proposed agreement. It's been in works for some time, and glad to get to the point of a public hearing and potential closing thereafter. maybe at this point in time, if any members of the public are present and they desire to be heard and provide a comment, they can do so through the established practices the village has used for public comment on the YouTube video. If anybody's provided a comment, that'll be the time she can introduce it. Otherwise, I'll Sarah, shake your head no.
Nope.
Okay, so I would say we satisfied our public hearing. We're probably not having the public opportunity to comment, and we could proceed forward with the agenda.
Okay, I believe the next part of this thing is for one of the trustees to make a motion to approve the land swap with Steve Lambert. Allison, have you got an ordinance number? Or Sarah, does anybody have one?
Yeah, it's 1338.
Okay, before the motion, I'll go one more time. Do any of the trustees or employees have any questions on this?
I only have one statement. If this goes ahead and passes, the whole idea of this in the first place is in order to make the tax from the south to the north. So we probably shouldn't forget about doing that as we go along this process.
Okay, will that be Allison or who will need to do that?
Probably Sarah or Allison, I'm not sure. The first request came to Sarah.
Actually, it went through the mayor, Jeff.
Okay.
So I'll see what I can find out, Dave, but I think you may have to be the one that has to actually do it as the mayor.
We'll probably need to wait until after the deal is closed, the assessment office is proceeding the process.
Okay.
Closing's gonna happen as soon as we can conveniently schedule it, but Aaron closing will be good before that is the assessor. So it may be 60 or 90 days before it's done, fully processed by the assessor's office. And then after that time, I expect we can provide bills.
Okay, Sarah, will you just make a note to follow up in 3 months?
Yes.
See where we're at with everything?
Yep.
Okay. Do any of the trustees have any questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve ordinance 1338 for the Lambert property swap.
I'll make that motion.
Okay,
I'll second it.
Allison, have you got the names?
Yep.
Okay. All right, is there any last discussion? If not, Allison, please do roll call.
Joe Boyd, Kathy Brooks, Jim Campbell,
Yes.
Don Gibson,
Yes.
Bill Morris,
Yes.
Pat O'Grady.
Yes.
Okay, so, Pat, would you inform Mr. Lambert's lawyer that this has been approved by the board now?
Yeah, and I'll work and I thank the board for approval. I'm I think third or maybe fourth village attorney to touch this finally when it be wrapped up. I'll work with the Lambert's attorney to coordinate details for closing, and then I'll touch Dave to work out details on it.
Okay. Thanks, Matt. I'm in shock. I think it's actually done. Okay. Next item on the agenda is the status of work from home. I worked with Sarah and asked her to work with Carol, and so that's where we're at right now. Everybody should be returning to normal hours, and we should have a good supply of masks around if they were needed to meet with the public or anything. You know, I'd rather guess putting a sign up that says no mask, no entry, if it comes to that. But we'll start with this and see how it goes. Okay, Next item is mine, status of the grant. I haven't made a lot of progress on the grant application. I've been kind of busy with a lot of the other things going on. So hopefully by next month, I'll be able to tell you our grant is submitted. This is the grant to cover the COVID-19 expenses. I think we have somewhere around $4,000 of expenses that we're going to submit for that grant. Okay, we've got an old topic on here. Our agenda is quite full tonight, so if the board would rather discuss this when we don't have as many things on the agenda, I'm fine with it. This is the topic that's been around for a little while. Discussion of compensation for the trustees and for the mayor. We've discussed it several times, and I don't know, I think the last communication was from Bill. I think we shared that with the board. I don't know if the board's ready to move on this or wants to refresh themselves. So it's open for discussion right now.
I don't really have an opinion. I'm really not doing any work. Jeff does everything for water. And so, I mean, I've already told Sarah I volunteer. I'm not getting paid anyway. But I mean, I don't really have an opinion on this, I guess. I think a lot of other people want to work and you certainly should be compensated for, any money you spend. But until I start a new aid for something, I don't really need any money. My personal opinion.
My problem is I'm totally indifferent. You know,
Yeah, I don't really care either.
Well, we do have to change the ordinances. Pat, I believe you pointed out either last meeting or 2 meetings ago that we do have a problem with the current ordinance.
There's kind of two issues that need to address. One is the last time the compensation seven wasn't done the procedurally perfect way. And then the second issue is there's imprecision in last action done. So you have some time if you want, to defer, you have some time. You're not yet to your deadline, but I would say that you have to act one way or the other. And even if your intent is to preserve the status quo, some clarification on what that's going to mean going forward.
Okay, what I'm gonna do is ask Phil and Don, if you two, in your trustee positions, will work with Matt to formulate a new ordinance for compensation. And I don't think the board's gonna really be concerned about what the actual dollars are. We need to get it corrected, and need to get it done correctly. We also need to, if we're gonna keep it on a per meeting basis, we need to define meeting as meeting, whatever we want it to be, the Hudson meetings or the agendas or whatever, or wherever you decide you want to define it. But would you two take the lead on that then? I'm picking on you because you're the and Phil,
That's fine.
You've got some good opinions on this, so I'd like to work with Don on it.
I'm gonna throw out an opinion.
Okay, so that topic will be previously decided on, and hopefully you'll have something for us at our next meeting about a status on it.
You were gonna say something, Kathy?
Yeah, opinion, this is just something for you guys to work with. I would suggest leaving whatever the pay is, the pay now, and make it, so that it's key to the open, anything that's an open meetings meeting. It's so that, plus any excessive, I guess, expenses, because most of the time, what we spend our money on, I just need Sarah if I need something, and it miraculously appears.
Sarah, how do you do that?
I don't know.
It does. But I don't ask for a lot either,
This is true.
I don't think. But like I said, that way we have some structure in the ordinance. If the next board wants to up the pay or something like that, at least it's, you know, a little walk by. But like I said, that's my opinion. You guys have just been handed that ball, so.
I guess, Dave, I'll make a recommendation to you, but I'll do that after the meeting some other time.
Yeah, Dave, the same way. My opinion.
Okay. Then Pat McGrath, you'll be contacted by Don and, get an ordinance going, a revision to get that corrected.
Yeah, and I had, worked with Dan on the draft. He's a point of reference in terms of what we're working on next.
Okay, I'll make sure you have time.
Thank you.
Okay, next item is sexual harassment training. Sarah, would you like to send out the information you have?
Yeah, our insurance company, when he came to see us, it was maybe 3 or 4 months ago, he said they have a video that we can do that will cover everything we need covered. And we watch that video and then they'll sign off stating that we've had what we need to have. So that's something I can set up if you want me to, or I don't know how you want to handle that.
So everyone's aware, the state is now required employees and staff to take sexual harassment training. And I believe it's in every year.
I believe so, yes.
So we will all need to go through that. And Sarah, why don't you set up an initial date for 2 days?
Okay?
And we'll see if we can make it on those dates.
Yeah. And I think once I get the information from him, it's something I can kind of do at any time with anybody. I can get it set up after I have the info, so it shouldn't be too hard to get dates with everybody as needed.
So can the trustees take it by themselves at home at night?
I'm thinking yes, but I need to double check with him. It's been a while since I talked to him, so
Okay, check on that one.
will do.
Trying to let you drive this and kind of keep track where everybody's at on
Will do.
it. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, the agenda lists 2 different annexations, but we found out tonight, and it was probably Paul. For those of you that don't know Paul Brown, Paul, you are from Farnsworth, I believe.
Yes, that's correct.
And you're here for the Dollar General annexation discussions.
Guys, we're working with the Oberlin Group, who's the developer for the Dollar General. So I'm just here to make sure about the United States.
Okay. Kathy and I should have caught this. We met with the TIF group, I don't know, 6 months to a year ago. We found out that some of the ground that we were talking about annexing tonight is already annexed in the lunch. All of Mike Turner's ground and all of Sandy Arnold's farm ground has been annexed into the village and it's been put into the TIF. And so our annexation that I thought we were gonna have to do to get, Mike Turner's ground annexed into the village is not necessary. Kathy, do you concur?
I believe so. The thing we need, because it was just that one piece, is that Mike Turner's land? Or is it different?
Yeah, sure, I agree for a minute. I can clear it up real quick.
Yes, please.
The host needs to enable me to do that.
Okay. Hang on just a second. Okay. Hang on just a second here. Sorry, guys. Okay, I think you should be able to now. Let me know if you can. Okay, perfect.
Okay, can you see a picture of the survey plat?
Yes.
Okay, the area in the green line will be 1.261 acres. That is what will be valued. Here in a second. The area in red is what needs to be annexed, and that's the Ocker Coons property right here. So essentially, overlay this barn on a portion of the property. Just to add in context with the proposed site plan, this is the part that's being annexed here. This part. And then just to take that a step further, this is the GIS map. And so we're talking about this parcel here. The lines are not correct in this, and this is something that we talked with. There was some years swap with the township, and that's all been worked out to basically the west line. And over and back, not quite to the creek. So the area is kind of, this is what is in the village limits now. This is a big area. And I can go back, if you want me to go back to either one of those drawings.
Kathy,
Yes.
there was ordinances 1238, 1239, and it annexed that property to the village, as well as the property of the county highway.
Right. I have copies of them here, if someone needs to see them. But my question actually is, looking at this particular map, can we add that, it's like, how do you say that? Where it comes up and makes a little square, there, up, yeah, there, that. With that there, can we annex that other piece?
Well, that is, we can't request that because that's not our property. My understanding is, talking about into the township. That's why I'm specifically just looking at the four parcels because this is the part.
Okay.
Kathy, I have talked to the township about that, and they are fine with annexing that ground. My hope was that we could annex everything that pertains from us all the way to the road that's to the left of where you see R1. Yeah, also on the corner.
Yeah.
And that little property across there, great with annexing. So
Okay.
we can do the township. But we can't do all the way to the road yet.
No, it's probably under situations. Okay, so it's actually the Coons property that needs to be annexed, not the Turner property.
Correct.
Oh, I think that.
Okay, does anybody on the board have any questions about annexing the property?
It just basically doesn't cost us any money, right?
Yeah.
Does it upgrade short or long term? You eliminate property tax and sales tax revenue off the development there and.
That is correct, Joe. Good question. Any other questions? Okay, if not, would someone please make a motion to annex the Oker and Coons property? Allison, what would the ordinance number be?
1339.
1339?
I will make a motion to annex.
Okay, so we have a motion to annex. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, we have a second, Joe. Any additional questions or discussions? Don, I thought you changed there for a second.
No, I'm just kind of being mauled right now.
Okay. Okay, now we have a motion to do ordinance 1339, annex the Kinkins and Oaks property in the village of Hudson. No additional discussion. Allison, please do roll call.
Joe Boyd,
Yes.
Kathy Brooks,
Yes.
Jeff Campbell,
Jim, you're muted.
Yes.
Al Gibson,
Yes.
Bill Morris,
Yes.
Pat O'Grady.
Yes.
Okay, so that carries.
Thank you.
Uh,
Would you like me to stay for the zoning discussion right now? I'm happy to if you need me to.
Okay, we don't have,
I have that.
I think it's just trustee Brooks stuff. If you'd like me to stay, I will, but it's up to you.
I can give that update now if you would want.
okay, why don't we do that now, so Paul will feel obligated.
Yeah. All right, the planning commission has scheduled a meeting for June 23rd at 6 p.m. via Zoom. And the final, I'm making assumptions here. Whatever, depending on their recommendation, the final zoning change should be in effect July. Crap, when is the July? The 7th. Should be July 7th. Would be the final. Assume, I'm making assumptions. I don't see any reason not, but
Okay, so you're gonna follow whatever it takes to have.
we have to, yeah, we have to have a 15-day lead on the planning commission for the rezoning. It has to be a public meeting, but they can't schedule the public meeting until the actual meeting is.
And so we'll need to publish notice in the paper of that.
That's already done for the next quill, so that's in there.
And that would, we need to rezone, even though we only have the annex one, my understanding, we have to rezone both.
Correct.
I didn't, Carl was in tonight, but, Carol, most meetings, notice done, I just wanna make sure we didn't miss that, route between us.
Yep, that's done.
Okay, so the zoning meeting, or planning commission meeting to do the zoning will be June 23rd.
Yes.
Okay, so the trustees, you're invited, not required for that. Kathy, you're invited to the meeting,
I sure will.
okay? So, Paul, was there anything else there as part of the zoning that you need to talk about with the board?
No, not for me. If you have any questions, the one thing I know is that there was a petition that was prepared for the Turner property, but the Cooks property also requested the rezoning at that time, which I understand you have to do everything at once. So if you need anything else filed for a rezoning for the Coon Rocker Cooks property, let me know.
Pat, are you happy with what we got?
Yeah, we have what we need.
Okay, very good.
Thank you.
Thank you all. If anyone needs anything, feel free to call me anytime.
Thanks for joining us tonight, Paul.
Yeah, my pleasure. Good night.
Good night. Okay, so we're done with the annexation, and we've discussed the zoning, so let's get that. Next item on the agenda is the NICOR gas meter modernization program. I received information from NICOR that they will be upgrading their gas meters to be read electronically, similar to how our water meters are read, so they can get the usage information without having to walk up to every meter. So they will provide us additional information. Any involvement on the homeowner's part, Plus, for some reason, someone would have to have a gas meter. Danny, I don't know that you've seen that anywhere in zoning, have you?
No,
Only outside.
Okay, so they should be able to play the work with whoever they contract for that without any involvement of the homeowners. They will set a lot of communications on that and keep us involved. Okay, the next topic I'm gonna ban for now, and I'm gonna work with Chief Sparks when he gets time to get some costs on what it would take to get IDs for the village employees and for the staff. I think there are times we might need them, so let's see what it costs us before we come back to the board. Okay, next item on the agenda is monitoring revenue levels. I've asked Sarah to start putting together a report comparing our income from a month this year, whether or not our income is being impacted much during the COVID-19 fiscal year. Mayor's meeting, I understand that some of the property tax payments coming into the county are late, so some of those reimbursements are late. And they'll probably be late in a month, so I don't know if you've noticed anything yet.
Not yet, no.
Okay, so what I'm hoping to see on the report is income we had, income we had this month, and what
Yeah.
are 3 months behind. For instance, our last sales tax, what time period was that for?
I believe it was for, I don't have it right in front of me here, I believe it was for collection month of February, but paid out in April.
So that'll help us know we didn't start anything until March, as far as the stay-at-home stuff. So we have a time period on the report from Sarah that'll help us identify it.
Sure.
We do need to keep track of where we're at with our revenues this year, closer than usual.
I can email that out tomorrow, most likely, I can have it out there.
Yeah, there's no big rush on that, but we just wanna try and get that close to the time we get the reports.
Correct. Yep.
We know where we're at when we have our meetings. All right, next thing I've got on the agenda is, and I'm as guilty as anybody, we need to be more organized with the ordinance that we're gonna pass and get that information out to the trustees and to everyone sooner. You know, again, today we were scrambling a little bit on some of the ordinances that got information out last minute. So I want everybody to shoot for any ordinance work, get it to the trustees at least the minimum of 2 days before our meeting. And Pat and Brad, was that going to be a problem for you?
I will do my best to meet them always trying to get things out as soon as practical, but managing burdens and workloads isn't always, aren't always able to get that from market. Engage best efforts to do that. Appreciate kind of things that.
Well, we appreciate anything you can do to help us out there, Pat, and it's just, you know, sometimes we're kind of scrambling here at the last minute to figure out what we got. You know, we missed some of that new no parking ordinances, we didn't have all the areas in there, and if we'd had a little more time to review, we might have caught it, so if you can help us out there with that, we should appreciate it. So, thanks, Pat.
Sure.
Okay, I was contacted by the county. The county is going to be working to set up a mobile COVID-19 test site, and they asked if we were interested in getting it to Hudson. I said, yes, we'd like it to come to Hudson for at least a half a day. And right now, that's where we're at. I'm waiting to hear back from the county when it might be available, and take recommendations from the board as to where we think we might want to have it. Thinking the ballpark by the light, really good spot, parking lot there. The other spot might be downtown, near the park. We don't have to decide our location tonight, but if you have an opinion, let me know. We don't have a date or anything, but if you proceed and get a mobile unit set up, it should be coming to Hudson sometime in July. And by then, I'm sure it will be eligible to test anybody that wants to be tested again. They've gone through spells where they would only test certain people and certain people. Hopefully we'll see that in July. I want to thank the volunteers in town that are working on the farmers market and encourage off of the board and all those listening tonight to start the Tampa Farmers Market. It's the Thursdays at the Methodist Church. There have been pretty good crowds there. Been some good food there. Not a lot of garden food yet, but we're just getting to where gardens are starting to produce, and I think the choices will be a lot better coming out here. So, thanks to those that are organizing this, and encourage everyone to support it. Okay, next on the agenda, the water and public property. John Holden.
The water's been good, nothing outstanding there. I've been spending most of my time on this. We did, after last Friday, there's rules and regulations, 10 players on codes. They have 30 feet away. Other equipment on there. Multiple groups, but they have to be 30 feet away. I want to thank Carol and Sarah for, we were inundated with requests at that point for practice times. There's no games allowed yet. You got inundated with requests. I worked through Dave and Jim, asking them how they were handling this. We were fine. So we got the cameras set up.
Okay, thanks, Jeff. Before we go on to Denny, I want to let the general public know that we will be coming out to a public citizens hearing in a couple minutes. And if you have anything that you would like to ask during the public portion, please contact Sarah with your question. Sarah, you can
Yes. Yep.
So, you have a couple minutes to get your questions to Sarah Hill, and then we'll make sure you have get those started, and then we'll talk about it. So, please get those questions to Sarah now. Next up, I get any portion of it.
I've been answering an awful lot of, continuing to answer an awful lot of questions. A lot of questions about pools, with the pools being closed down, and what's the regulations, as well as other involved that get people things like that. The street project will really be getting into that here in the next week or two. I got a call about the sold truck today that the Benz line and they were asking me if in the next few days I can bring up the snow plow so they can make the front mount and the spreaders to make sure that they can get those plumbed and attached. So it's getting really close. Back though, last time or not, it's been ordered. Yeah, it's probably a month or two out with the virus slow down in some of the parts, and also the snowplow for the service truck has been ordered, and it'll be installed by Lenco once time allows this summer. And I've been in connection a lot with the farmers markets, and it's going well. I believe this week they're adding a few new items. I believe they're getting some eggs and some honey. So some of the early garden crops are coming around as well. So they added some flowers and antiques and things like that last week too. So they're getting to be quite a selection of stuff to walk up there and take a look at on Thursday evenings. So definitely thank Lynn Forrest and Pastor Keller for really getting that together, and things seem to be going quite smoothly with that, what I've been involved in. That's basically all I have. Other than, as always, I like to thank the township. So if anybody ever sees anybody on the township board, Michael Grady or Jeff Emmert, the landscape bunker has been very well used this spring. So I know that there's a lot of citizens that appreciate that. So be sure to thank one of the township for that. That's all I have. Thanks.
Anybody have any questions for Jeff or Denny? Okay, next on the agenda is Village Marshal Dale Sparks. Pat, would you like to fill us in?
Sure. Our chief, he had a pre-scheduled event earlier, and he did work a double shift yesterday. They worked till after midnight. Working tonight, also, due to the current events with the large gatherings and looting in the Twin Cities and surrounding areas. But so far for us, we will get the monthly report out very soon, but again, they were on the streets. And the only thing other than that I have is that we needed to meet with the chief, the mayor, and myself concerning part-time versus full-time, but we can plan that at a later date. But as far as the numbers, everything's as usual, but they have been logging hours at night until the situation starts to calm down, at least in the Twin Cities.
I do want to clarify for everyone that they were on duty last night, and they will both be on duty again tonight.
Yes.
Be advised, we do have excellent protection tonight, so. Okay, Kat, you got anything else for Dale?
No, again, like I said, he was doing the monthlies and was gonna have that for me, but then went out on the road, so he said, I'm sure he'll probably be in tomorrow. Well, I know he will, but, as of right now, they're gonna be strictly working on the streets.
Okay, does anybody have any questions for Pat? Pat, I know they're putting in some real long days, and make sure you express our thanks to Dale and Tom both on behalf of myself and the board.
I will do that.
We do appreciate it. Okay, next on the agenda is civil defense, and Jeff is at a different meeting. All sides
North End Town.
South End did.
And the center of town did too.
Okay, so the timer's all work today for the 10 o'clock testing. All right. Jeff, let Jeff Thomas know we don't have anything to tell him this month.
All right, will do.
First time in a while.
Yeah.
All right. Looking through the agenda, I failed, or I skipped over one of my topics, not intentionally, and I'm gonna bring it up now. That's the rebuild for White Tenant that we got. Much to our surprise, and I think we've sent it the information to all the trustees. He did receive a nice check from the state of Illinois as part of their Rebuild Illinois plan. And Karen did some research on it, and it has to be spent as part of the MFT type funds, those type of expenses. So we have additional money to put into there, and what everybody on the board thinks about the best way to spend that. Do we have additional roads we need repaired, sidewalks repaired, or maybe a new sidewalk to Dollar General, different things like that. As long as it's qualifies for MFT, and then we do have to get it approved before we actually do the project. But, sir, is there anything else we need to add?
No, I don't think so. I think you covered it, so.
Okay, so does anybody on the board have questions on that or comments? If not, why don't we try and make our suggestions today in the bill and funnel it through those guys and see if they have any recommendation to the board by next month. Is that okay, Danny, Bill?
Yeah.
That'd be fun. Okay. Bill, then please put that on your agenda for next month. Okay. And something I've been contacted about several times, I had it on the agenda to send to Allison, and somehow I lost it. We've been asked to set a date for garage sales. Garage sales are back under the control of the municipalities now. And I'm gonna suggest to the board that we set June 26th and June 27th as a garage sale weekend. That avoids any conflict with Father's Day. And we'll know whether or not Governor Pritzker is backed off of any of the liberties that we currently have with phase 3 reopening. Hopefully we'll be in phase 4 by then. Regarding, does anybody have any thoughts on dates?
Well, I talked to Jeff today, and whenever we do it, down at Casey's, about the porta potties, and if they're still willing to do that. And so I called to them in the morning, so I'm gonna go and talk to him and see if they're still willing to do that.
Great, thanks, Jeff.
I think the problem is, well, you bring in another population, so I think, we're looking at 600 more people in town, with this virus. They have to bring in porta potties at the Casey's because the Santos can't accept that many people at one time. And we all know that people congregate there. And I can't open up the ball field restrooms. And so we bring in porta potties, that was my thought. I was going around in circles and it just popped in my head. What are we gonna do with people that need to use restrooms for venue? So that I called Jim and so that's something that needs to be worked out.
We thought about several over to Donnie's house, in my bathroom, but Donnie said no, unfortunately.
Yeah, works for me. I got plenty of room for one body in the other driveway.
Okay, so our dates, okay, June 26th and 27th, does anybody see any problems with those dates? That'll give everybody time to organize it. That'll give COVID ID a chance to see whether or not we have any rebounds or spikes under phase 3. And hopefully we'll get under phase 4. If not, Sarah, will you post on social media tomorrow that the board is June 27th?
Sure.
Kathy, did you want something or?
No, I was changing my calendar.
Okay, just.
I was still staring at May.
Okay, thought you were raising your hand, sorry.
Oh, no, ideal.
June 26th would be the Friday, June 27th would be the Saturday, so.
I was going over, I was just looking at an email from Lisa Coate, who is the McLean County Health Department, and she had said anytime is too soon, but I mean, Hudson, we do the garage sales, but it's not the village of Hudson, it's the town. I'm just like questioning, is Casey's gonna supply these water potties and stuff going on? Jeff already said we can't use the ballpark. If you do bring that many people out, you know, Whitakers or any small town, hopefully not, but empty fields or whatever, who's paying for that?
Normally, Casey's put them out, and that's why I think that somebody needs to reach out to them and include them in the plan. And it's not a Village of Hudson garage sale, it's the resident of Hudson having garage sale, we're really not involved in the business. But it doesn't want that much people, that many people in their building, or do they even want to participate in it? I think they have to meet the person they talk to. And we'll be talking to them in the morning before you put out it.
Yeah, I just my 2 cents worth, I'd say, let's see what they say. If they say, you can put them here, but we're not paying for them, who's gonna pay for them?
Right.
Is that, and I don't know that would be a village cost.
As far as I know, the village is not paying for those in the past.
We've always had the restrooms open at the ballpark, as I understand it. And they did allow Casey's people that went in, but I'm sure with the COVID, I just don't know. So I'm just suggesting that before we post it on social media, that we check with Casey's and find out.
Yeah, they've always had porta potties at Casey's every year up until now, and they pay for that, just so they won't overload their system. Every year, they like the business, so they go ahead and pay for the porta potties to do that, because they don't want their system overloaded, but they want the business, so they go ahead and shell out the cost. But we gotta make sure that they're in this year.
Okay.
That's the history of it. They've always had the porta potties there, but I'm not sure that they really want to participate.
And I think the reason the village is involved this year is we had to spread the word on delaying it, canceling it at the normal time because of the state mandates. And so it's been lucky for us to set new dates, and that's why I recommend we do it on June 26th and 27th.
Well, we've been involved on the police side to protect the emergency vehicles and stuff getting to our residents. So we have been involved on that side, but not the organization of it, but the police side and the emergency fire side and that kind of stuff.
Correct.
Yeah. Yep.
So our only additional involvement this year was canceling it and now recommending dates for it. And then we do need to see if Casey's is willing to do the porta potties again on the dates. Because of the state mandates, like you said, we can't have the restrooms at the ballpark open as of today.
Okay. I think Jim's on top of getting with Casey's in the morning, and then we'll have that information, I guess.
And I'll wait to post until I hear from Jim on what Casey's is doing. Are you good with that?
In case something
Right.
something happens, and then we don't have a place for all these people to go to the restaurant.
Yeah, I'll wait to post till I hear from Jim.
Yep, hang on until you hear from Jim, sir.
Yeah, we'll get a tape measure over at Donnie's house, check out that driveway.
6 feet apart.
Everybody needs to wear a mask, that's all I ask.
Okay, any other questions or discussions on garage sale weekend? Okay, then we are to the citizens hearing. Sarah, have you received anything?
I do have one comment. It's from Richard Bland. He says, I don't think we should have COVID testing in Hudson. Why would we want people that may be infected to come to Hudson? There will be kids practicing at the park too. They do not need to potentially be exposed. So his concern is with the COVID testing.
All right, I appreciate that input. I guess the reason that I thought we'd want to have it here was to make it easier for the Hudson residents to be able to get tested if they wanted to. So I guess I'll ask for a vote, board opinion or a vote on whether or not we want to bring the testing unit to Hudson.
I think you could probably put it, if you ask, I'm assuming, maybe in the school parking lot. It's not over at the Ball Diamond then, so you don't have to worry about that. Again, it's only a half a day.
Is there room at the fire department for it to park up there?
I would think so. They have a lot of blood drives and other activities up here.
Do they even get out of their cars, or are they tested while they sit in their car?
I have not heard how the mobile's going to be set up.
I thought they stayed in their cars, but could be wrong.
That's the way they're doing it right now, but I don't know on the mobile that's coming up if they stay in their cars.
Okay, there's one more comment here. Richard says, the problem is that people from other towns will come here, is his concern.
I understand that, but if we get away from the ballpark, where we have a lot of Hudson residents, then that would eliminate the kids aspect of being exposed to it. And I don't know how the testing is done. I think out at the fairgrounds, the way they do it, no one other than the people doing the testing are exposed. But I understand the concern.
I think the tests are way down now out there at the fairground from what I've seen on the social media side of the McLean County Emergency Management that puts out.
I think they were either 65 or yesterday or the day before. I know the counts are down right now.
Below 100 most days it seems like.
Right.
How long are they there for?
I'm sorry?
How long is McLean County Fairgrounds gonna be open?
Which time?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if the mobile unit would supplement what they've got or replace what they've got.
I'm just curious, if they're still open in July, then that would kind of solve it. They could go to the fairgrounds. It's not that far from us. But again, I don't know if they're gonna be open or if they move the venue.
Are there other towns that are having the mobile units come to their towns, villages?
Yes, there are.
There are.
Yes. All the
Any
towns.
surrounding towns? Which town?
I'm sorry, Pat.
Which towns?
I have not seen a list, and all the towns have been sent an invitation. I do not know who has responded yes or no.
There's one more comment from Richard Bland. He says, unless they stop at Casey's for gas and food, I think he's referring to when you were talking about if they stay in their cars or not. That's what I'm assuming.
I can't tell anybody how the testing is gonna be done. So we don't know yet.
How much time does the COVID-19 testing facility need to pencil us in? And if we were to say yes, how much time do they need? I mean, do they need a month's notice to set it up? Do they need a week?
I really don't know, Pat. How does this sound? Why don't I take Hudson off the list for now, and then we can address it at our July meeting if we want to talk about it again and decide then whether or not to invite him out here.
That's fine. I'm just thinking, if McClain County Fairgrounds is still open and testing, it's not that much farther for them to go. If citizens are concerned for their safety of coming in town, taking the test, and then purchasing fuel at Casey's or going in or going garage sailing, you never know. But as long as they're open, I'd say we just postpone it for right now.
I don't think
I agree with that.
I don't think the risk of people getting COVID-19 from people coming into town to be tested is going to be all that much different than the exposure they get when they go grocery shopping. And I'm sure masks are going to be required and social distancing and everything, but I can't confirm any of that because I have not seen any details on how it would occur. So it was just a service that they wanted to offer to us. And I will, unless I hear differently from the board, I'll just phone them back and let them know to drop our name off the list for now. And may ask to be added later on. Everybody on the board okay with that? Okay. Okay, so were there any other questions, Sarah, from the citizens hearing?
No, that's it.
Okay. The next thing on the agenda is our report of standing committees from our trustees, finance, budget, contracts, and employee, Don.
Really nothing. I just wanted to ask, with the bulk pickup starting today, Sarah, did you guys get any calls up at your office?
For bulk pickup to be picked up, you mean, or?
Well, anybody saying that their stuff didn't get picked up?
I got a couple calls this afternoon, but at that point they were still in town. We had a pretty extensive list of people that wanted things picked up. So I saw them still in town after 2:00. And I didn't have any messages when I got in here tonight, so I'm hopeful they got it by the end of the day.
Good. Okay. That's all I had, really.
Okay, how many of the trustees knew that bulk pickup started today? Okay, I'll come back to that later. Okay, thank you, Don. Street department, Phil. I think Getty's pretty well covered everything that we need to cover. I really don't have anything else. Okay, thanks, Bill. Ordinance and zoning, Kathy.
Okay, on the 911 readdress issue, basically we're waiting on Brandon to verify the people, the current addresses that need to be notified that their address is changing. He said that we're working on it so we don't have to worry about the July 1 deadline. It's a reasonable expectation in the current situation, and we should not get in any legal troubles over it. That's basically what I have on it.
Okay, so when are we gonna be mailing out the readdressing letters?
As soon as we get, Nikki is able to get out here and reconfirm the addresses that need to be changed.
Okay, so those should go out sometime in June,
Probably towards the end of June.
okay? Go ahead, Kathy, what do you got next?
Okay, I've got the ordinance to correct from, it's a new ordinance for the no parking on South McLean. It's for South McLean, Bluebird to South, where you go on South McLean between the Bluebird cul-de-sac and Broadway. That was missed in the description last month. And this is the ordinance to basically catch that description instead of doing an amendment to the prior one.
Okay, Allison, do you have the ordinance?
So do you need a whole new number then?
Yeah,
Okay, it's 1340. And then can you, or do you have a paper copy of that, Kathy?
yes.
Because we'll need to get that signed too.
Okay, I can forward that to you. I have the electronic copy also.
Yep, thank you.
Let me write that down.
I'd like to clarify there to make sure the old ordinance was passed. So that's a separate ordinance number from this one, correct?
Right.
Okay, I want to make sure that both ordinances get listed in our ordinances.
Right. Got it, we got it late, and that was missed in the description because it had the two other sections on South McLean listed. And because of the way the curve came in on South McLean, it just short of Bluebird is where it stops on the inside of the curve. And we missed that there was no reference to Bluebird to Broadway
Right.
for the stop sign.
The only thing I didn't want Allison to think that this was a new ordinance overriding the last.
Oh, no, it's totally separate.
Okay.
What was the reasoning for this no parking? I mean, I know on the curb was a line of sight.
The reasoning on this one is because of the stop sign, Aaron. There's a house right there on that corner, and when they park their vehicles out front, literally, two cars cannot be going through that stop sign, that turn at the same time. If somebody's there stopped waiting for somebody turning left onto South McLean, one of them has to give if there's somebody parked. And it's dangerous.
But so, entrances off of Broadway need this then too? Or?
Not that I'm aware of, but this was a sort of unique situation because it's a nice turn, so it's got a lot of trench. And when you start
The other entrances in the Prairie View have boulevard. So there's 4 lanes. When you turn in from Prairie View, and when you come in off of South Street. But the goal you were talking about only has basically, I don't know, it might be 3 lane width there, but what do you say, Dan? Correct. Yeah. So there's no boulevard there. If you look at it, down from your house, Joe, there are boulevards in Prairie View, out in Broadway.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if we're saying, I don't know if the speed limit there is still 45 on Broadway or what, but I mean, I guess if we're saying you're coming out of a turn on Broadway, the speed limit is still high, so we don't want people backing up there. I just don't, I mean, as long as you, that's a special curve, I guess, and speed limit there, I suppose, huh?
Correct.
Because it is a 45 actually.
45.
It's a 45 mile an hour speedway there. It's before it hits the 40 and the 30.
I'm pretty sure what brought this all about was the new house being built right on the curve. both sides of the road. And people were having trouble getting through. Plus, the south side, looks like heading toward Broadway, was bus time. And if the bus parked in the middle to pick everybody up, you couldn't get through.
Some unusual circumstances on that particular stop. And because of the high speed limit, and the houses that are there, and probably one house is already there. And when if the one goes up across the street, that stop area, we could make a net for people parking too close to the stop sign, because it's just, that sounded terrible. I apologize.
Okay, so we have a ordinance 1340, which is a new ordinance. It would put no parking between Bluebird Court and South Broadway. Is that pretty well, Kathy? Okay, Kathy, you want to make that motion,
I will make that motion for ordinance 1340.
I'll second. Okay, so we have a motion and second. Is there any additional discussion by the board? That Ellison, please do roll call.
Bill Boyd,
Yes.
Kathy Burke,
Yes.
Jim Campbell,
Yes.
John Gibson,
Yes.
Bill Morris,
Yes.
Pat O'Grady.
Yes. Kathy, what do you got next?
Okay, I have the zoning status of the Dollar General, which I mentioned earlier. It's scheduled for June 23rd at 6 p.m. via a Zoom meeting. The next item I have, if there's any questions on that, does anybody else want to be notified so they can attend? Other than Dave? Once, twice, okay. Alright. The last thing I have is, just basically a census update. Hudson's at 86.2%. The contest, it was brought to my attention that they wanted to bring the final guests up. I still think it should be left till July 7th, simply because we're not actually going to get results until the end of the year, like December, or November, December, January of 2021. So the more time available, the more people may participate, but it's 6 of one, half a dozen of another. So I'm giving it to the board to give me opinions.
Board good with the July 7th deadline on the census contest? All right, we're gonna go with July 7th. Kathy, that's the date you mentioned, right?
Actually, July 1st.
I'm sorry, July 1st. I'm sorry.
Okay, and I will, as soon as I can get into Outback, I will get the card up to the, to Sarah, so she can pin it on the wall. So,
Okay,
I have no reason, sounds bad, I have no reason to go down there very often, so I'm sort of negligent in getting the actual gift card, which I will take care of this week.
we really can't award it until we get the results anyway, which is
Yeah,
right
and
down the road.
that's why I haven't really broken my neck to get it yet, because I'm, like I said, it's gonna be the end of the year before we get the actual finalized results. So,
Okay.
but maybe if somebody sees it on the wall, maybe it'll encourage them to register. We're really close. If we get 90%, that's absolutely fabulous. And we're really close.
Our thanks to all the citizens in Hudson who did the census and got that information turned around. You made the village of Hudson shine. You know, one time it was saying it was changing and probably more people in Hudson. I'm not sure where we are now, but it's been agreed for that. So thank you, all residents.
Yeah, because
Anything else?
I was gonna say something else, but my monitor on my other computer went, Then I have to wait for it to come back.
Can I ask a question, Kathy?
Absolutely.
You're gonna hate me on this. I wanna go back to your first bullet point on 9/11 community address.
Yes.
What date did you have?
I'm thinking probably the last week in June to send letters out, and it's a 30-day notice to the people who have to change their address.
Okay, what is the penalty if we didn't do that? I've asked that question, no one can tell me.
As far as I know, there's no actual penalty.
Okay, I'm just thinking with everything that's going on right now, with the COVID, people haven't worked. I'm just thinking, telling people that you've got to change your address. That means, and I've been to several of these meetings, you've got to change your address, you've got to change your passport, you've got to change your driver's license, and nothing's open. This is going to be an extreme hardship on them.
That's
And
correct.
if there's no penalty, and again, I've asked several people, and again, another one is, I thought we were gonna wait to talk about this until after the census was done. I'm just thinking this is the wrong time to tell somebody. Plus, another thing is, if you're gonna move people from one side of the street and change the number to the other side of the street, you're gonna have to do it the same exact date. Otherwise, it's gonna mess everything up. Mail.
Right, that's why, like I said, until Brandon can get out here and reconfirm the addresses that need to be changed, we basically cannot do anything. Okay? Once he.
But there is no date to tell me, but you're gonna send this letter out in the end of June. I'm just thinking.
Well, I'm hoping to. That's not an etched in granite.
Okay.
It's not an etched in granite. That strictly the steps are, Brandon has to reconfirm. Then we have to send out a certified letter to these addresses and give them 30 days notice.
What happens if they don't?
Well, their mailing address with the post office will be changed. If they change their address on the driver's license, they will.
Remember what I said, the post office is one of those places.
What do you mean?
They're part of the deal that Brandon Lacey said the address on the post office is wrong.
Well, okay.
I've met with the fire chief and the chief parks, the previous mayor, myself, met with the fire chief, and those were questions that were asked. His only answer was, we'll find it, no problem, it doesn't matter to us. And I'm just thinking, this is not the right time for, first of all, it's gonna be next to impossible to change your driver's license because they're not even open right now.
Well, like I said, that's gonna be problems anyway, because all the driver's license issues until they open, the state has suspended that.
Right, so,
But, you know, they have 90 days after whatever. But as far as the post office, like I said, we have to mail those letters before the post office is notified. So until those letters go out, the post office, whatever their address is their address. Okay?
but like I said, the post office is gonna get one too.
Right, the post office will get one. If they do not change their box number, their house number, driver's license, or something like that, they're not gonna get their mail.
Well.
Odds are they still will because the
Yeah.
post office knows who they are.
Yeah, again, I've asked, and I had a meeting with the town of Normal also, they said they were not gonna do anything until a later date, until after the census, but again, I've asked several times, what happens if you don't? And
They
nobody
don't.
knows.
They're in trouble. As far as the village, then that's the thing. It's not even the village is not responsible because it's a state law. It's
Who's
not-
responsible for the mailing of the letters? The
That's
village?
it. Yeah, that's it.
We're
That's our.
gonna pay the postage to send those letters out. What's the letter gonna say?
Basically, per this statute, Illinois statute, you have 30 days to change your address.
And you're gonna give each individual one that has to change it, their new address?
Yes, there.
You're gonna send out a black letter with everybody that has to change it.
To the individual, yes. If there's
So
about,
not everybody in Hudson's gonna get a letter.
no.
No.
There's gonna be about 30 people there.
The last I remember talking about this, when Dan came on, that we were gonna let this go until we decided what Normal was gonna do, and we we're gonna wait till after the census, and whatever Normal did, we'd follow suit.
Well, I have no idea what Normal is doing at this point.
I know.
They don't know what they're doing.
That is correct, because like I said, I had that meeting with them, and again, you're gonna have to get, let's say, 110, I lose there somebody, 110 address here will have to switch with 112, or I'm sorry, 111 on the other side, on the same exact date. Or you're gonna have a big problems.
Well, from what I saw, okay, and I would have to literally look at the maps. There's not going to be but 5 maybe that have to do that. Everybody else will have a new unique address. Because there's
I'm causing you problems. I'm just,
problems, Pat.
I know, I'm sorry, but I'm.
Would it be a good thing for Brandon to come out here or join us on the Zoom meeting and talk to us?
And that's not a problem. He said he would come, not a problem. Okay, here we go.
I do want to comment on one thing earlier. This is a state mandate to do the readdressing for 911. And there may be costs of not doing it, maybe not dollar costs, but there might be other implications of not following the mandates we're given. So I don't know how to answer your question, Pam. What happens if we don't do it? I don't have a graph, but it seems like you have a graph on this a while back.
What happens if, right now, because I don't know the situation as to some of the residents, what if they can't afford it? Is that something that, I'm gonna meter here,
I spoke with the mayor of
the
Lexington.
check. The monitoring, no, I'm sorry, program. Rebuild Illinois check that you received. Is that something that could be, I'm just thinking, I don't know, if somebody's been out of work, lost a business. And you're gonna tell him all this, and we've gone over this, there's a lot of things besides your checking, your driver's license.
Yeah, I started
If you have any, security asset at the airport, then they're not gonna redo it. Your passport, they're not gonna just give you a new one. If you change, you're gonna have to pay it over again.
I spoke to the mayor of Lexington, asked sometimes, they're valid questions. As I was saying, I spoke to the mayor of Lexington, and he said what they did when they did the bullet on it. He said they sent a letter out with a copy of the ordinance, and that was it. It was up to the individual homeowner.
You know how many they had in Lexington?
No, I don't know that. I can't find out though. I still have his number.
Did they all change their addresses?
Apparently so.
Okay, why don't we, have,
Maybe
Lacey,
Pat McGrath,
meeting?
does Pat McGrath have opinion on it.
Yeah, and to your question of what ramifications exist under the law if you choose not to be directed, I don't have the answer to that offhand. I have not been informed of that specific regulatory ramifications that the municipality chooses to cooperate. It actually could be a factor for state funding decisions and things like that. My suggestion would be to do it because it's part of the lawful directive to you. Respectfully, I have a hard time figuring out a whole lot of cost involved. Where your mail goes, it's free to change what the address is on your bank account. I understand it's an annoyance, but unless you have like a instant brick address spelled or things like that.
And everybody in Prairie does.
And anybody with financial trouble, I would think would save that cost because that would be strictly necessary for compliance if we're not going to if that were to be given. So my suggestion is to do it. I don't have any other communities that have the objection that you guys have had. Your objections are founded, but I do agree that it's helpful. But no, I can't. I don't believe there's a specific consequence.
So all the village needs to do is send a letter on and we're done?
Yes. That's our only.
All we're talking about is staying on that, whether they change it or not.
It's not our obligation to verify that.
Okay.
Somehow I think we're gonna hear about it one way or the other. I think that's the only responsibility for gonna hear about this.
Well, like I said, I have the statute, I have a copy of the statute. And what, you want the number?
No, I've seen it.
Oh, okay. There's we have the obligation to notify them that the change basically is being made. The post office will be notified, basically.
But it's not our responsibility to go check to see if it's done.
No.
Okay.
Which is, and one of the things, because of the Prairie View number blocks issue, I did ask about that. And, excuse me, the village ordinance only says that a house number is required.
Yes.
Maybe the people that are in the homeowners association, and their covenant says it has to be in brick. But for the village, it does not.
Correct. I mean, yes, they can put a piece of board over their number. Yeah. We've already had that discussion. They can burn it with a wood burner and put it over there. But as far as your passport,
You're on your own. Because some people have them, some people don't. Yeah.
and plus, it is gonna be an extreme hassle.
Right, which is why until Brandon verifies the actual addresses, and one of the things that in the meeting with myself, Dave, and Brandon is you wanted to have the least number of people who were impacted. Yeah, we could go through and totally renumber those two cul-de-sacs. No, not cul-de-sacs, loopies, whatever.
For sure.
Yeah, but that would impact more people than was really necessary. If you sort of walk the fine line, okay?
Okay, I guess my question, the only thing that we have to do is our responsibility is send the letter out. Whether it gets done or not, then it's.
It's not. It's to try it, but it's not our problem.
Okay.
As of this day, that's the address on that house. The people that live there, that's living there, getting their stuff changed, that's on them.
Okay.
And it was pretty cool, but
I'm the only person that had a lot of concerns about the advantages of doing this, but I think let's invite Brandon to our next meeting in July. And then, set up the letters as ready to go, but not until Brandon attends one of our meetings. And is able to justify doing this and explain the penalties and everything.
okay. Not a problem.
All right, Dan.
Yeah. It sounds, once again, I'll say something very obnoxious. No skin off my teeth.
Okay.
You know, like I said, as far as I know, the statute itself does not have any penalties associated with it.
Just to us if we don't send it.
No, not to us if we don't send it either.
Well,
But they really don't
Mr.
like.
McGrath said that
They- Yeah, there's responsibility on all kinds of stuff, but in the statute, it's not something we see.
Okay.
Not that I thought, but I will read it. To see exactly
I close no problem.
Also, I might get somebody from the state, 911, team that's been involved with this to attend our meeting also.
Okay,
Okay.
because I have no idea in the state, just in this district.
And Pat, I'd also like to find out sometime who we can talk to in normal.
Check my notes. My memory's gone. I'll think of it and I'll send you a note.
Yeah, if you can send it to me sometime, that'd be good.
Yes.
Okay? Anybody else have any questions for Kathy?
Come on, guys, Pat got me. Come on.
All right, next one is, police department and Pat.
I think I've done enough damage.
Okay,
I
thank
don't
you.
have anything.
Fire department, Joe.
No, I don't have anything.
Public property, Jim, I'm sorry. I don't know why I brought up arts and garden sales, I didn't see it here under you.
That's okay. We got it covered.
Okay. Okay. Jim, did you have anything else?
No.
Okay. Next on the agenda is one of the commissioner report. I want everybody to know that we've worked with both bars in Hudson and they are both complying with the state mandates of outside service. Both Country Square and Sit Bowl have got some outside seating and trying to follow the state mandates and are open and are glad to be open. The second part I wanted to bring up was the cost of their liquor license and some of the board things about rebating. The liquor licenses are approximately $11 a year. I know some of the communities have rebated some of that cost back to the liquor establishments because we paid for a license but couldn't use it for several months. So my recommendation to the board is that we go ahead and say, yeah, we're gonna rebate that portion of the liquor license from middle of March, I think it might have been 13th when they had it closed, to whatever date we can. I think that being able to be when they can start doing inside seating. I think the sales are probably still pretty limited right now with outside seating only, especially with the temperature getting up to 90 tonight. So, what's the board's opinions on rebating some of the liquor license costs?
would be what, 3 months, 2.5 months probably, because it'll be the end of June probably before they'll be able to have inside seating.
Yeah, if it was the end of June before they could do inside seating, that would be about 3.5 months. You know, a quarter, 3 months would be $250.
I actually think that's reasonable.
I think it's fair to the bars if we do that.
Sounds fair.
I agree.
Good.
Okay. Bill, you got concern?
No, that sounds good.
Okay, I will work with that. Also want to ask opinions on the gaming license. Ordinance now has a charge of $25. To the best of my knowledge, that's new with the ordinance we have now. Sir, is that something?
Yes, that would be new for this year.
And that would need to be paid at the end of June, is that when?
Yes. They all come due at the end of June.
Is it paid in advance or in arrears?
The gaming fee, you know, that's new this year. I think it was put in there to be paid at the beginning when they renew it for the first time for the year. So it'd be at the June 30th renewal,
Which would be the beginning of July.
which would mean that that's for the new, because they didn't pay it last year, so that would be for just this year then.
Or July through June?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so they haven't.
They haven't paid it yet, so
Mhm.
there's nothing there to rebate.
Right.
So by the time those will be due, they should, hopefully it will be open and running. So if that gets extended, and we need to consider the rebate for the gaming devices, we'll bring that up at a later time. But for now, I'll work with Sarah, and when they can do their inside seating, we'll issue them a partial rebate of their liquor license fees for when they were closed. Okay. Next item on the agenda for liquor commissioner was review of closed session meeting, I'm sorry. Yes, review of closed session. Move into closed sessions if needed, I'm sorry. We have nothing to do in closed session other than review minutes. And we were not able to get copies of the closed session minutes to all the trustees. So Allison, you want to see who's the copy?
Yeah. So I think Kathy, do you have a set?
I have a set from the last time you sent them out, a year ago.
Okay. I think Joe, you need some. Okay, and Jim, you probably do also.
Yeah, I have them.
And Donna, do you have them?
I do.
You do, okay, so I just need them from Joe and Jim. I'll get those to you.
And then just for information, Joe and Jim, we have closed session to discuss, there's 3 types of things that can be discussed in closed session. And if we have a closed session meeting, the minutes for the closed session are kept separately from the open session. So those are approved during open session, the minutes, but then every 6 months, we have to review closed session minutes and decide whether or not they should be open. And so we have minutes dating from previous years that we don't feel comfortable as opening up yet. And so every 6 months we have to review all of the closed session minutes that were never open. Plus anything from the last 6 months. So we do that about every 6 months, and we'll put it on the agenda for next month then. Okay, so we don't need to go to closed session, back into open session. I have a party comment. Didn't get on the agenda, but I want everybody to think about social media and what kind of presence the village wants to have on social media. Right now, the police department has Facebook presence. The village department is fine. We do post stuff on Hudson Happenings, but the village has no control over the Facebook contents of Hudson Happenings.
We have our own Facebook page, though. The Village of Hudson itself has its own personal Facebook page.
Village of Hudson does have our
Uh huh.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. Yeah, it's Village of Hudson, Illinois. I believe is how you search it.
Sarah?
Yes.
Say again?
We have our own. Oh, it's Village of Hudson, and then comma Illinois. So, but we do have our own page.
Great. I'm concerned that people associate Hudson Happenings with the Village of Hudson. We really don't have responsibility. And so I want to get the word out there about the Village of Hudson. Happenings and post everything on the Village of Hudson Facebook page.
Yeah, I don't post anything on Hudson Happenings. I don't have the ability to post on Hudson Happenings at all. So
maybe
they,
I misunderstood.
yeah, I just post on the Village of Hudson page, and then I think they share ours to get it out to the community. But I only post on the Village of Hudson. I have no control over the other one at all.
Well, you just solved my problem. Good. I want the trustees to make sure they understand too that we don't have anything to do with Hudson Happenings. We do our posts on this presence, and it can be moved over there, but we don't have anything to do with the content that gets put on Hudson Happenings. So, and I only bring that up just so that the residents of Hudson all get a good understanding. So, the only thing left on the agenda is adjournment. Quick, does anybody have anything else they want to discuss?
I had one comment on the census that I did not have the information on my screen went wonky. The Illinois rate currently, as of yesterday, was 65.5% compared to Hudson's 86 points.
Again, thank you to all the residents of Hudson for doing a great job on this.
They have done a fabulous job.
All right, nobody else has anything? I will entertain a motion to adjourn. Motion from Joe to adjourn. Do we have a second?
Second.
I'll second it.
We have multiple seconds. Allison, roll call.
Joe Boyd,
Yes.
Kathy Brooks,
Yes.
Jim Campbell,
Yes.
Gibson,
Yes.
Bill Morris,
Yes.
Todd O'Grady.
Yes.
All right, thank you to everybody, and thanks to our citizens. We don't know yet if our July meeting will be Zoom or in person. We'll have to see how the state's mandates come out, so keep everybody posted on that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Thanks, Pat.